everybody, today we're having a look at how to express obligation. So for example, saying that you must do or that you have to do something. So to start with, we have the patterns here. We have 3 different patterns, again, depending on how formal you wish to be. So the first one we have is the verb in its plain negative state, so in its nai form. And we simply cross off the I and we add this phrase, kereba narimasen. So that's the most formal way of expressing someone having to do something. Second to that, we have the verb again in its plain negative state, so in its nai form, and then we add to ikemasen. And finally, again, verb in its plain negative form, and we again cross out the I, and we can attach either kucha or nakya to be really informal and casual. So I have an example here for each. We can see here that the first example in blue is the most formal option. So we have we, I, or you have to write a letter. Tegami wo kakanakereba narimasen. So you can see here we have the verb in its negative state, kakanai, but we've crossed out the I and we've attached kereba narimasen. In the second option, again, we, I, or you have to take off our shoes. So this is a polite variation. It's not as formal as the one in blue. It's a little less formal. Kutsu wo nuganai to ikemasen. Again, we have the verb in its plain negative state, nuganai, and then we've attached to ikemasen. And finally, we have the informal version, which is we, I, or you have got to study. Benkyou wo shinakucha. So we've just simply changed the ending of our verb shimasu to its negative plain state, shinai, and we've crossed out that I and attached kucha. On our second slide, we can see that the addition of ka can turn statements into questions. So for example, what time do I have to get up tomorrow? Ashita nanji ni okinakereba narimasen ka? Simply by adding ka, we can now use this pattern as a question. In our second example, do I or do you have to take the bus? Basu ni noranai to ikemasen ka? So simply, as I say, by adding ka, we now can use this pattern to ask questions as well. And if we go back to the first slide, if we attach ka to, for example, the first 2 sentences here, we can actually change these sentences into questions. So, tegami wo kakanakereba narimasen ka? So this now changes from I have to write a letter to do I have to write a letter? And likewise with the second example here in pink, kutsu wo nugunai to ikemasen ka? It changes it from I have to take off my shoes to do I have to take off my shoes? So that's about all for this topic. But if you have any questions or comments, please let me know.